touching on the top prop bets in the NBA today. Just real quick, a recap from yesterday. We did go 5 for 5. That was pretty awesome. I know a lot of these got bumped throughout the day, which was unfortunate, but at the same time, at least some people were able to take advantage of it. And then obviously the ones that didn't get bumped throughout the day, these two, you're still able to use that and profit and have a good day. So 3 out of 4 really awesome days now. And to me, I want to start with that because let's tamper expectations a little bit, okay? On a hot run, quite clearly. And so with that, kind of expecting a regression. Now, that's not going to change the decision making. That's not going to change the process at all. Still going to go through the same steps to see if we can find an edge. Now let's go ahead and get into it. So I do just want to start out with some MLB props. So I don't mind the idea of betting the over for Logan Gilbert. We can see through his starts thus far this season, he's gotten 6 or more strikeouts in every single game. So at the very least, just using that, it would suggest that he should be able to at least get a push for us. Now his matchup with Philly is going to be the thing that makes me believe he can get over that hump. Philly ranks bottom 5 in strikeouts over the last 3 games, giving up about 11.67 per game per 9 innings. The biggest worry with Gilbert is going to be the fact that he is currently day to day. He was scheduled to start on Sunday and that got pushed back to today. Now I'm always under the assumption that why would anyone risk someone further in an injury, especially early on in the season, whether that be NBA, NFL. NFL's a little bit different, I guess, but you know, these seasons, NHL, I guess, these seasons that are long, if you have to miss a start to get healthy for, you know, the rest of the year, why would they risk that? So I'm going to be under the assumption that he's good to go. Thus, I think he's going to be able to get the over, but like we do need him to pitch 6 innings. Let's just make that clear. And then another one that I like is going to be Sandy here. Okay. His over and under strikeouts is set at 6. He gets a really good matchup with Atlanta that over their last 3 games have given up 12 strikeouts per 9 innings, which is obviously a lot. And so the biggest thing that we need to worry about here is he's been a little bit inefficient this season compared to last. Last was a great year for him. And last year, he really went deep into game. There are a lot of games in which he pitched full game. And we already saw that once this year, but we also have seen him get shelled. And so it's kind of twofold. Obviously, if he's pitching well, he should be able to get the strikeouts. And it's because he's going to be having a lot of innings. So if he's pitching well, you expect him to go deep into the game and be able to get the over strikeouts. And it's also going to be that matchup with Atlanta that's going to be highly appealing here for me. And then just so you guys can see it on PrizePicks. And then there's one more pitching prop that I like as well. And you guys will see that I have been going with pitching props a little bit more. Went 3 for 3 yesterday with the ones I gave out. And that is simply going to be because I feel like the discrepancies game in and game out are going to be lower. The variance is lower for this. It's easier to predict. To me, it's much more like a shots on goal kind of receptions type of prop. So looking at it, we can see Anthony has been able to get 4 or more strikeouts in every single start thus far this season. And it's also going to be the good matchup with St. Louis, who over their past 3 games have given up 11.67 strikeouts per 9 innings. And you guys might find it weird that I keep saying like per 9 innings. Well, to me, it's going to be like in NBA when we have to look at the per 36 production and just kind of use that as a benchmark, because the assumption is that he is going to be pitching well. And if he's pitching well, he should be able to get 6 innings. And if he gets 6 innings, he should be able to get to 5 strikeouts, at least 4. And I think, you know, this one also has a good chance of being a push. And then lastly, I have seen John Gray's line kind of flutter throughout the day. Right now, it's set at a push if you're looking at the average sportsbook odds. I don't know if I really trust him, honestly, but he does get the best matchup on the board, so it wouldn't be shocking. And then lastly, let's just see what other MLB props that we have. And there is a site member that signed up, I believe yesterday, who was kind of confused as to how this works. I think it's pretty straightforward. You had the NBA kind of props cheat sheet right here. This is going to be NBA as well. And then we get into the PrizePicks and Underdog cheat sheets right here on this left-hand side. And then you can sort it by sport, okay? So right now I would sort it by MLB. And we can see we are getting a couple of decent good lines on MLB today. Let's go ahead and look at this as well. We're going to look at underdog lines just for, you know, that audience. And so, yeah, let's just go ahead and look at the best lines that we are getting in general on underdog. And we can see a lot of them are simply going to be looking at MLB based props, and especially on underdog. We're getting a bunch that are going to be minus 140, which are going to give us about a 53% chance or more likelihood for those props to hit. And, you know, I'm assuming that this one's going to be gone pretty soon here. But once again, the board is consistently updating throughout the day, and so we can take advantage of that throughout the day. There's one good under bet you could potentially make, and then a couple of decent lines where the lines are not matching up. Let's go ahead and take a peek at PrizePicks. Okay, so looking at it as well, not sorting by a specific sport, just by best props that we are getting. Not terrible. If you guys want to use this hitter strikeouts as well, you could, just getting a strikeout, that's fine. But now I want to get into my favorite bets on the day, looking at NBA. But hey, first, before we get into that, real quick, you guys may have noticed that my videos have been coming out a little bit longer or later than they had been in the past. That's because I really want to dial in the content and information before I come out with a video. I never like to rush. And so if you guys have appreciated that, just make sure to give a like and subscribe. That does help out the channel. The views have been down a little bit, and it's simply because I'm coming out with the video a little bit later. And that's simply because I want to give out the best content and information possible I can in each video, and I don't want to rush it. And so let's try to combat that a little bit. So NBA wise, we are getting some interesting turnover props, I would say. But for the most part, I think we're going to be looking at fantasy score props as kind of ones that we want to go with. You can see RJ Barrett is going to be a decent one, and also Xavier Tillman. And then if we just look at the difference between Underdog and PrizePicks, we can see that currently PrizePicks is overvaluing a lot of props compared to Underdog. So today, it does seem like a day we can be on Underdog a little bit more than PrizePicks. And let's just reverse that as well. See which props we're getting from Underdog that are being undervalued. Okay, we got Curry, Wiggins, Sabonis, and Middleton. So right here, we could be getting a little bit of a stack there. If you think this game's going to be a high scoring game, the Warriors Kings game, you would want to maybe do Curry, Wiggins, and Sabonis over fantasy point. Then also want to call it Chris Middleton's a little bit lower as well. Giannis points, we're getting a full point there on PrizePicks. That's pretty good. And then Bam points, rebounds, and assists. I'm probably not touching that, but because I think he's going to struggle. In that case, we could actually bet the under on Underdog there as well. And so I do just want to call out something like Drew Holiday's fantasy score seems really low to me. And I don't know if you guys feel the same, but Drew was pretty terrible in the last game. Okay. 2 for 11, that's terrible. 6 for 19, not good as well. I guess the saving grace is that he didn't turn the ball over too much, but he was able to have a good game while not shooting the ball well. And so to me, that's kind of a good sign. And to me, I think the Bucks are going to come out just ready to play, ready to win. Yes, last game felt like it should have been a blowout for the Bucks. They kind of let Miami hang around, and just kind of a weird game. And I'll touch on that in a second as well. Part of the reason why I think the Bucks are going to blow them out, one, they're just a better team, but Drew Holiday should have a better day shooting. And so if he does, then he should be able to get the over fantasy score. And so I did kind of tease something just a little bit earlier. I think the free throw props are going to be interesting today. Jimmy Butler ended up having 15, and sure, 4 of those came at the end of the game. So, maybe more or less just 11, we could say. But if we look at Giannis's free throws, and these are made free throws, Giannis only had 2. He went 2 for 4. And so the fact that Jimmy Butler shot that many more free throws than Giannis is kind of like eye-popping to me. And it's kind of one of those things where, I'm a Bucks fan, so I'm being biased here, but it seemed like Jimmy Butler was getting a favorable whistle, whereas Giannis was not. And so to me, I kind of see that flipping today. It's just kind of one of those weird things that happens, and we can see based off the game log, Jimmy Butler doesn't typically shoot that many free throws. And if it's a game in which you think the Bucks are going to be ahead, then to me, it's going to be less likely for Jimmy Butler to get there with the free throw. And this is a situation in which I could see betting lower free throws for Jimmy Butler and actually betting over free throws made for Giannis. At the same time, if Giannis is healthy, I do think the over fantasy score is going to be a good prop for him as well. And then I do kind of find it interesting, the line that we are still getting here with Jalen Brunson, pretty good line. Once again, that first game against Cleveland had limited minutes because he got into foul trouble, was still able to almost get the over. And so from a point per minute basis, he would have got the over there. Then 45, just missed it against the Cleveland in the other game. And then 47. I kind of expect him to have another good game. I guess the only issue we could have with that is that'd be 5-6 straight really good games in a row. At some point, you just kind of expect a natural regression there. And so maybe we just take the day off of betting Brunson, although I still think it's a good line. So then just to recap, I'm not going to have like a today's bets section because I don't love pairing these all together, if that makes sense, because I am chasing some lines that are going to be pushes more likely than not, like this one, and then this one as well, because they're all set at 0.0 instead of 0.5. And I typically don't like to really overextend my betting slip with those ones that could be valued as pushes. To me, these are much better individual bets on a sports book, and that's where I'd probably make the picks on. And then again, I I know this is biased. Like that's not, I can recognize that. Okay. But I don't see Butler getting that favorable whistle again. So I think under 7.5 free throws made is a good bet. And then these two feel like I'm kind of forcing it, but I still like Drew Holiday over 35.5 fantasy points, and then Giannis over 54. And that's kind of the issue, is that I don't see today's board as good of the props we had on Tuesday, definitely not Sunday or Friday. So that's why I don't want to give out a specific like bet slip for today. But that's all for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the coverage. If you did, you know what to do. Give a like and subscribe. That does help the channel out a lot. If you guys want access to that cheat sheet, it is available for $10 a month. All right, let's have a good slate. And as always, keep cashing.